Namaste and welcome to the show The Young Achievers. I'm your host Pinak and you're watching Prisma Television. Today we have a guest who is not just building a company but is helping to build a more open and compassionate society. In a country where mental health is often a quiet conversation, our guest is forefront of a movement, providing crucial support and shattering old stigmas. She is the founder and managing director of Happy Minds, a platform that's making mental well-being more accessible to youth and professionals across Nepal. Please give a warm welcome to Shreya Giri ji. Shreya ji, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
So you found Happy Minds about 5 years ago, and what has been the experience till now?
I've never had two same day in past 4.5 years now. It's fun, it's chaotic, it's overwhelming, overwhelmingly bad, overwhelmingly good. It's a full overwhelming roller coaster, all sorts of emotions. It's been a great journey so far.
So the whole journey, what has been inspiring you to stay grounded and do the work for Happy Minds?
Well, I know that this is something that's demanded by the people. I just happen to be the bridge. Every now and then, अब त mental health मा enough काम भइसक्यो, केही कुरा automationमा लगाउन भन्ने सोच छ, के extra vegan गरौँ न भन्ने सोच आउँदा आउँदै जहिले नि केही crisis आइदिँदो रहेछ के. Sometimes it's COVID के बेला त्यही demand people reached out अनि उहाँहरूको request देखेर नै establish भएको Happy Minds हो नि त. Bunny, at some point maybe we were doing better some days, maybe we were doing poorly some days. तर अहिले फेरि recently हाम्रो Gen Z को protest हुँदै गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ we saw how influx of people were reminded that it's okay not to be okay. Yes. Mental health चाहिँ primarily नै impact हुँदो रहेछ. सानो ठुलो life events केही पनि impact हुँदा बित्तिकै भनिसकेपछि चाहिँ it's incidents like this that keeps me humble and grounded. Because जुन लेभलमा Happy Minds automationमा गइसक्यो, हामी एक लेभलको काम गरिसक्यो कम्युनिटीमा भन्ने सोच थियो, त्यो चाहिँ यो अहिलेको रेभोल्युसन चाहिँ चलिरहेको छ त्यसले देखाएर चाहिँ हैन श्रेया, तिमीहरूले काम गरेको पुगेको छैन, काम गर्ने मौका चाहिँ अहिले हो भनेर बेला बेलामा खुट्टा तानेर अनि ग्राउन्डेड राखिदिरहेको हुन्छ.
So when you first started and right now, what has been the biggest hurdle that you've experienced?
For mental health, one thing that we've always struggled with is stigma. People know that they are not okay. People know that they're struggling with a lot of things. And they probably also know that there is a mental health professional out there who are equipped to support you with things like this. तर त्यही पनि मान्छेले के सोच्छ, घरमा के सोच्छ, अफिसमा के सोच्छ, म परामर्श लिन जाँदै गर्दाखेरि मलाई कसैले बाटोमा देख्यो भने के सोच्छ भन्ने कुराले गर्दा चाहिँ people don't come forward. So firstly the stigma भयो. त्यसपछि चाहिँ नेपालमा mental health resources enough छैन. Clinical psychologistहरू limited हुनुहुन्छ, counseling psychologistहरू limited हुनुहुन्छ, त्यो बाहेक volunteers खोज्नु पर्यो भने पनि limited छ. So नेपाल मात्र हैन, worldwide नै mental health shortage massive नै छ. र third भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ budgetको एकदमै अभाव छ. Policy छैन, stigma धेरै, so priority मा नपर्ने भएको भएर चाहिँ प्राय जसो community government level मा होस् कि corporate level मै होस्, even grantहरूको fundingहरूको opportunity मा पनि finances को access चाहिँ limited नै छ.
So the whole यो advocacy हजुर एउटा mental health advocacy भएर what do you tell the people to do? As someone you stigma बाट त I think it will take a while for people to kind of get out their cell. And for those who are not going in Happy Minds and talking to you, what would you like to tell them?
I mean, they don't necessarily just have to come to Happy Minds, or they necessarily don't have to go to a therapist even. मनमा भएको कुरा चाहिँ खुलेर राख्दिनुस्. Everyone has a right to a safe space. And I believe that everyone should also know how to provide that safe space for other people. सो मनमा जे छ दिमागमा जे छ दुःखै लाग्दो कुरा भए पनि एकदम खुसीकै कुरा भए पनि केही गिल्ट छ सानो ठुलो भने पनि खुलेर कुरा गर्न सक्ने वातावरण चाहिँ सबले पाउनु पनि पर्छ हामीले दिनु पनि पर्छ भन्ने कुरा हो कुरै गर्दै गर्दाखेरि नेपालमा अहिलेसम्म मेन्टल हेल्थको बारेमा कुरै नगरेको मान्छे कुनै छैन होला कि बिकज आफ्नो सोच विचारकै बारेमा कुरा गर्दाखेरि त्यही त हो मेन्टल कन्भर्सेसन भनेको सो हामीले त्यो ट्यागलाइन मात्र नदिएको हो तर त्यसको बारेमा त कुरा गर्दै नै छौँ तर यदि यो हेर्दै कसैले थाहा पाउँदै हुनुहुन्छ मेन्टल हेल्थको लागि के गर्नुपर्ने भन्ने चाहिँ साथीबाट पाइराख्नु भएको एडभाइस र सपोर्ट इनफ छैन अनि मैले गरेको कुरा चाहिँ उसले बुझ्ने र उसले सहयोग गर्ने क्यापेसिटी भन्दा बाहिर छ भने चाहिँ मेबी यही कन्भर्सेसन चाहिँ मैले प्रोफेसनलसँग गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने मात्र एउटा रिमाइन्डर चाहिँ दिन चाहे
अनि द होल स्टिग्माटिजमको कुरा गरौँ देयर आर मेनी पिपुल हुन्छ नि धामी झाँक्रीहरूका छन् अनि लेट्स थिङ्क अबाउट नट डक्टर हुन्छ नि दिमागको डक्टरले चाहिँ के गरिदिन्छ टाइपको एउटा स्टिग्मा त आई थिङ्क वी हेभ अहिले पनि अनि द होल सुपरस्टिसनको पनि एउटा स्टिग्मा पनि छ अनि द बोथ कम्बाइन्ड वाट डु यु थिङ्क अबाउट द्याट
इन्ट्रेस्टिङ क्वेसन एकदमै पढे लेखेको वेल ट्राभल्ड मान्छेहरू पनि हामीसँग आइपुग्दाखेरि हामीले जसरी फिजिसियन साइकाट्रिस्टलाई रिफरल दिन्छौँ त्यसरी धामी झाँक्री कोही चिन्नु भएको छ भन्ने नम्बर दिनुहोस् न भनेर थेरापिस्टसँगै माग्ने मान्छेहरू पनि हुन्छ सो अझै पनि छ त्यो बिलिफ सिस्टम जहाँ चाहिँ माताजीका धामी झाँक्रीका जाँदाखेरि चाहिँ मेबी आई हिल फास्टर आई हेभ अ बेटर एडभाइस कसैले केही गरिदिएको देख्दाखेरि आफूले पनि केही भइ नै हाल्छ कि भन्ने एउटा बिलिफ सिस्टम पनि हुन्छ नि त मान्छेको तर हामीले के चाहिँ याद राख्नुपर्छ भने वेस्टमा चाहिँ यो अब्सर्ड लाग्न सक्छ तर हाम्रो कल्चरै त्यही छ नि त हामी पूजामा विश्वास गर्छौँ भगवानप्रति विश्वास गर्छौँ भने कति मान्छेको बिलिफ सिस्टम नै धामी झाँक्रीमै छ भने बोथ ह्याज टु गो ह्यान्ड इन ह्यान्ड हामीले धामी झाँक्रीहरूलाई हेरेर तपाईँहरूको त कामै छैन तपाईँहरूले गर्दाखेरि मान्छे झन् यस्तो भइरहेछ भन्नुभन्दा ह्याप्पी माइन्ड्समा यस्तो पनि कति सिनारी छ जहाँ चाहिँ पुजारी बाहरू माताजीहरूले नै तपाईँ चाहिँ थेरापिस्टका कुरा गर्न जानुहोस् भनेर रिफरल दिनुहुन्छ कि अब होइन तपाईँको काम हुँदैन भनेर एकअर्कालाई दोष लगाउनु भन्दा सबैजना सँगै आएर रिफर चाहिँ कति बेला गर्ने त मेरो साइडको एक्सपर्टिज यो हो म यहाँसम्म छु यहाँभन्दा बाहेक जानु पऱ्यो भने हामीले पनि त ओसो जानु तपोवन जानु भजन कीर्तनमा लाग्नु भनेर रिफरल दिन्छौँ नि त सो त्यसरी यो रिफरलको इकोसिस्टम भयो भने चाहिँ मेन्टल ल्यान्डस्केपलाई ओभरअल नै डेभलप गर्न अलिकति फ्लरिस गर्न चाहिँ हेल्प हुन्थ्यो होला तर हामीले जति त्यो काम लाग्दैन भनेर बस्दै गरे पनि मान्छेले सुन्दैन नि त त्यो पनि गरौँला तर त्यो सँगसँगै यहाँ पनि कुरा गर्दै गरौँ न भनेर अलिकति इज इन गराउन सक्यो भने चाहिँ आई थिङ्क द्याट वुड बी गुड तर हामी केही आउँदै गर्दाखेरि पनि कोही धामी झाँक्रीको नम्बर छ भने दिनुहोस् न भन्ने मान्छेहरू चाहिँ टन्नै हुनुहुन्छ
द्याट्स अ फनी स्टोरी
या
तर यो होल रिलिजन एस्पेक्ट छ नि सबैजनाहरूको इज दिस समवाट लाइक एउटा दिमाग बोलाउनलाई हो कि के गर्नलाई हो जस्तो इज इट रिलिजन द्याट काइन्ड अफ एस्पेक्ट वेन इट कम्स टु मेन्टल हेल्थ
I mean, I am just an advocate. I'm not a professional to have a very strong opinion on it. However, if you ask me personally, भने चाहिँ रिलिजनले होप एकदमै फस्टर गर्छ कि हाम्रो कल्चरमा भगवान हुनुहुन्छ नि हेरिदिइहाल्नुहुन्छ अनि भगवान मेरो बच्चाको रक्षा गरिदियो भन्छ नि भगवान चाहिँ सबको मुखमा हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ when the times are really really bad what's one thing that's keeping you together भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ भगवानको भरोसामा मान्छे बसिरहेको हुन्छ कि सो रिलिजन भने यस्तो उस्तो धर्म भनेर कुरा गर्नु भन्दा we also need to be very empathetic towards people अनि with एकदमै कम्प्यासनसँग के चाहिँ बुझ्नुपर्छ भने त्यही भगवानको एउटा मूर्ति हेरेर चाहिँ मान्छेले पुरै जिन्दगी बाँचिरहेको हुन्छ कि आशाले त्यही भएर रिलिजन चल्दैन स्पिरिचुअलिटी चल्दैन भन्ने पनि हुँदैन हामी मेन्टल हेल्थमै पनि कुरा गर्दै गर्दाखेरि मन्त्र जप्नुस् भन्छौँ नि द्याट्स अल्सो अ सोर्ट अफ मेडिटेसन वेयर इट हेल्प्स पिपल टु ग्राउन्ड देमसेल्भ्स एज वेल सो अगेन अघि धामी झाँक्रीको कुरा भयो अहिले भगवानको कुरा आउँदैछ आइदर वे दुइटैले एकअर्काले एकदमै कम्प्लिमेन्ट गरि नै रहेको हुन्छ कहिलेकाहीँ अल द्याट इभन थेरापिस्टले पनि भन्दाखेरि बुद्धिज्मतिर टिचिङ्सहरू हेर्नु मन्त्र जाप गर्नु मेडिटेसन गर्नु भनेर हामीले त्यहाँ पनि क्लिङ अन गराइदिन्छौँ कि वेस्टर्न मेन्टल हेल्थ र नेपालको मेन्टल हेल्थको सेक्सन चाहिँ डिफ्रेन्ट किन छ भन्दाखेरि कल्चरल एडाप्टेसनमा चाहिँ यस्तै यस्तै कुराहरू पर्छ.
So, अहिले for youth, what is the most common mental health challenges you see among young Nepalese, Gen Zs, Nepalese today, and how is Happy Mind directly addressing those issues?
Okay. So, during the recent protest of Gen Zs in Nepal, a lot of minors, a lot of youths across the country has seen a lot of violence. Probably they were thinking that it was going to be a peaceful protest. However, when they were onto the field, they saw a lot of things that any people of that age shouldn't be exposed to. Even the people who didn't go to the ground were exposed to a lot of things. So now what's happening is even the smallest of sounds, like urgent sounds that anyone sees, any visuals that they see, is triggering a lot of people. So trauma has been one of the spiking mental health issues amongst the youth, followed by social media, phone addiction. I remember me, myself, we were all awake up until 2, 3 in the morning checking the news constantly. And our all screen time has gone crazy as well. So second would be social media. We don't know how to be away because we also want to be informed. We also want to give our best to keep everyone informed, you know, comment, share, ask for opinions, give opinions and everything. But apart from that, sleep also has been affected. Like I said, a lot of screen time, indoors, a lot of overthinking, anxiety has also affected sleep. So if it used to be anxiety and depression, if that was the highest mental health challenges among the youth, then it shifted towards PTSD, overthinking, social media addiction, sleep issues, just within a span of 1 week.
So that's something. And how is Happy Mind doing it? So you've been providing free. Let's talk about.
Okay. So on the first day of protest itself, we had a lot of youths reaching out to us asking, I'm feeling nervous, can you help me calm down? We usually do have a lot of, especially the minors, reach out saying, see, I did my homework today, this is my art, what do you think about it? So it's been a safe space for a lot of people. But since the protest, we have received an enormous number of youths reaching out for support. And I know for sure that finances is going to be something that will be a biggest hurdle for anyone to get the help. And I've always said one thing for sure is कसैले help माग्न आउनु भयो भने चाहिँ पैसा चाहिँ कहिले पनि barrier हुनु हुँदैन, because everyone has right to ask for help and get the help that they need, जुनसुकै capacity मा भए पनि. So our entire team of Happy Minds have come forward to give free psychosocial support to anyone who's been affected by the protest. We have publicly shared 2 of our numbers. One is for crisis. If you're having very intrusive thoughts, if you're feeling very triggered, you're crying on the phone, you can't sleep and you're having panic attacks, then that's something you can speak to the counselor right away. But if you think you can manage it maybe for like a day or 2, then we are giving you a priority access to a therapist, so you can speak to a professional and then learn your techniques as to how to calm down and understand what's happening in your mind and body. So this is how Happy Minds is stepping forward to help the youth who's been impacted by the protest.
And the whole crisis thing and the hotline calls, must say, Ani, what is going behind Happy Minds? Are there groups, or are we doing a certified psychologist, clinical psychologist, or what is going on behind?
Okay, it's chaos.
Yes, it's chaos, but also there aren't a lot of clinical psychologists in Nepal. So how are you managing those things?
So we are now mobilizing clinical psychologists for the crisis first aid response. The entire team of Happy Minds has received suicide prevention training, PFA trainings, plus their own supervising sessions. So they are well equipped to handle people in crisis. What we are mobilizing mostly is the psychologists, counseling psychologists, and psychosocial counselors and volunteers. at the
Okay.
moment. So for the times where we think we need a clinical opinion and an expert to look after it, that's only when we refer people to clinical experts. Unless that's not an issue, then we just deal it within the office
Oh,
itself as well.
that's such a great news. And do you train them before going on to talking to people?
They are all professionals.
So the volunteers.
The volunteers, they're all interns who's already connected with Happy Minds from before.
Oh, so
So
that's.
it's almost as if we were preparing ourselves. Glad to know that the community is always asking how can we support you, and always checking in if there's any room for us to practice and provide support in the community. So this is the same group that's come forward to help the youths via Happy Minds.
Just I think I will also be happy to be a part of Happy
Happy to
Minds or
give you any
any.
support.
any kind of mental health sector, because it's such an important subject. And going into what has been the biggest challenge you've seen since you've started, and what has been the biggest challenges right now?
When I initially started, being able to create a structure was one of the most difficult things for me, because this is something that usually runs at best capacity if you're an NGO, but we're not. We don't operate upon anyone's grant.
Yes.
We are a self-sustaining platform. So figuring out a structure, figuring out a revenue, having a stable revenue was always an issue. From that to being having a very solid background and developing from there on, to now again coming in another crisis, I think we're back to struggling with creating yet another solid structure, and also probably accessing finance to support the free services that we are giving forward. So it's almost like we, along with the entire country, are 4 years behind.
Yes, you're talking about the finances again. How do you think Nepal can do in the aspect of Happy Minds, or any kind of mental health advocacy, or any kind of mental health sectors, to clinical psychologists, psychiatrists? How do you think it's possible to normalize this?
To normalize how can people come forward to seek support? I think everyone's doing their bit. Recently itself, when we said we are providing free mental health support, it's not just us. There's like tens and hundreds of other freelancers and mental health pop-ups who's come forward to provide the support. Now it's not just mental health platforms who is raising awareness on mental health. There are a lot of advocates and influencers along with us who are working on to make people aware that whatever we are going through right now is also a mental health crisis. So these are the pockets of, I would like to say, opportunities where people make sure to remind each other that mental health professionals is there, your mental health might be at risk, reach out for support. So when in crisis we make a dip, that's also where the awareness is
Yes.
always the most invested part. So a lot of more and more people are being aware, which is at least something good out of the entire chaos.
So the more crisis, the more people might know, because a lot of them are really.
Yeah, I wish people were equally interested in mental health, even in
Yes.
normal days, in normal scenario when everything is like set. However, at least people realize even in crisis that they do have
Someone to
speak to. Yeah.
speak to. Yeah, for the young people who might be watching, what would you like to tell them about Happy Minds, and how would you, if someone is trying to make a company, or trying to make a platform almost, what would you like to give them an advice?
An
almost?
advice: lead with compassion, not greed.
Yes.
At some point when you're operating, you will be thrown with thousands of opportunities, and a lot of people all around the world might reach out to you, offering you everything that you've dreamt of and beyond, where it will be very easy for you to, get into a slippery slope. Please remember, the ideal reason why you started, it was never to make money. or live a fancy, lavish life. It was to serve, probably raise awareness, support people. So, one, lead with compassion. Second, make sure your cup is always full. You cannot operate when you have a hole in your pocket.
Yes.
So make sure you have a fixed revenue standard, different revenue streams, that even in crisis moment you can support yourself and the entire organization as well. Third, please become with an open mind that you might not know everything. You might be a mental health professional, but you might struggle with operating a business. You might be a business student or a business professional, but you might not have an hands-on knowledge on psychology. So always be open to learning.
Starting with from the first, let's go to the first at your starting. What led you into the whole understanding, wanting to understand mental health? And till then and now, what have you been like? What is the one like big advice that you've learned, and it's like everyone needs to know this kind of?
I started reading about mental health when I was doing my undergrad. That's when I realized the symptoms that I'm showing, the experiences in my mind and body is, and there's a term for it, and it's all linked to mental health. Since then, I've been reading up about it. It's all self-study itself. I'm not a psychology student in any aspect as per se. However, based on whatever I've studied so far, and something that I preach is that your mind and body is always talking to you. The moment you think poorly of yourself, your body listens to it and it reacts to it in the same way. So when you're speaking about someone else and you're very thoughtful and trying to be, you're very sensitive to make sure that you're not harming anyone else, make sure you provide the same sort of empathy and awareness and alertness to yourself as well, because your mind and body is always communicating with each other. So first and foremost, like I said, pour yourself full to make sure before you provide for anyone else. So be nice to yourself.
And as a student, you've been a student and experienced the whole trauma that we get from school.
Yeah.
People coming in happy minds, what are the response of the students who are studying in a might be a difficult subject and have gained, do people gain a lot of mental illness or symptoms of that through studies, or is it simply just the society treating them, or is it, you know, the environment or surrounding they've grown? What is the birth or like something that
Okay. First would be the classroom environment and the school environment for the kids. It's more like, it's very difficult for kids to adjust to their schools, adjust to the trends, to the social status of everyone around you, no matter what is it that you are going through, what your family might be going through, or even if you're even capable to hold that status in front of your friends. But adjustment and loneliness, bully, are the few things that a lot of the young kids of Nepal, not just Nepal, all around the world, have been experiencing when you're going to the schools. Second would be studying something that you were not interested, but you did because of society and your parents. So their heart and mind is in arts, but there they are trying to study medicine and trying to be a doctor, a future that they never wanted to be anyway. So for me, from whatever communication I've seen from people a lot, is social anxiety, low self-esteem, impacting their confidence, feeling hopeless, being bullied, or even being a bully for that matter. But apart from that, is a lot of the times the kids do not have the freedom to pick what is it that they want to study. Hence, they're shoved into a box that they don't think they're ever going to fit in. So from there comes in the frustration, anger, and so on.
what would be the advice for them, for the bullies and the one who suffered from bullying?
I think I would rather give advice to the parents than the kids.
Yes.
Please be a human. I understand they are your offsprings, but they shouldn't be the one to fulfill all your dreams and aspirations that you weren't able to achieve. They are humans of their own. They have their own life achievements and goals to accomplish. Please don't shove your expectations onto your kids.
going into parenting, for someone who is thinking of maybe giving a birth at a young age, what would the advice be?
Make sure you have a very reliable partner and a family. Um, at least an emotionally stable couple would be able to raise an emotionally sound child to begin off with. But just emotion can't lead the way. So make sure you talk about all the difficult conversations about probably finances, logistics, economy, and everything else. So make sure you're having the hard conversation before you're going through a hard times.
So, from studying a psychologist and being understanding the whole mental health, I've learned that the whole parenting thing is very important for a child, and for someone who hasn't gotten, as a parent who hasn't gotten the right parenting, so there is like a generational trauma going on. What?
I don't think there is any longer any excuse for any parent to say, I wasn't taught.
Yes, I do
You
think so.
know, I see every parent being so engaged on platforms like TikTok, where the same platform also provides you with a lot of mindful parenting techniques and tips. There are so many platforms now available to us where you can even join in for a basic parenting coaching session and such. So I don't think that's a good enough excuse anymore for any parent to say, I don't know how to be better. This was what was taught to me. I think
Yes.
if we have an awareness, then we should also find the confidence to hold our parents accountable. I mean, I did. It was difficult for them to talk about emotions.
Yes.
They didn't know how to respond when I would talk about emotions. So I used to hold them accountable. If you're watching a video of how to do your hair, could you also watch this video to understand how to speak to someone like me? So yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's okay to hold your
Yes.
parents accountable.
For someone who wants to make a difference in a whole world, what is the most important advice you would give them about turning a personal passion into a real and tangible change in their society? It could be about mental health or starting a whole business.
Keep it realistic. Every time we dream of like bigger things in life, but it starts with a small step. For some, it might be starting to talk to your neighbors' kids, to the grandpa living on the next street, or anything. Just make sure that you dream big, but you start small. It will hurt you more if you were to ever collapse, but also always contemplate and accept the fact that you will collapse at the same time. So build a dream, keep it realistic, but start small. Even if you want to build an entire forest, start by planting something at your home, because it's one thing that gives you an idea, gives you a feedback, gives you an experience, and helps builds your confidence as well. So just keep it realistic, but also please always contemplate or have like a contingency plan as to if this tree falls, what's the next tree and where can I build it, under which environment.
That's a very important message that you've
Yeah, I
given.
think we were never taught about failure, you know.
Yes, yes.
We are all bound to fail at some times. Maybe in relationship, maybe in business, maybe in education. But we never were exposed to anyone who failed in life. We only talk to a successful person. We only talk about successful business plans. We've never really sat down to talk about anyone who's failed. What did it feel like and how did it overcome the entire situation, build yourself up again. So I think it's very important to learn about failure and prepare your mindset accordingly as well, that when you do fail, you're not left to feel hopeless, but maybe you are so confident knowing what's your backup plan because you've always explored around the area of failure and you know that's not like the end of the world.
And also going in to your Happy Minds, which has been in a peace. And how do you keep it consistent in a business? Because it is never consistent.
It's never always the
It's never
same.
always the same.
It's not. I am always a salesperson. Anytime I see myself anywhere, I'm always pitching about Happy Minds. And it's not about like endorsing a brand as per se.
Yes.
Like, you don't necessarily have to come to Happy Minds, but just being a human and letting them know that there is a space and there are a lot of people out there as well. But if you ever think, because I'm having this conversation with you, if you ever think you need someone, then you know me, and you're not speaking directly to me, you're speaking to my team. So you know I hold a space for you.
Yes.
Even letting people know that there is a space gives them a comfort. So I've
Yes.
always been pitching about mental health and Happy Minds since past 4.5 years, up until like even this morning.
So, Shreya ji, thank you so much for being here. And Shreya ji, before we leave, do you have anything important or any advice you would like to tell it to the youth?
We are amid a national crisis where physical safety is also at concern, but so is psychological safety. I just want to let people know that it's okay if you're feeling a lot of emotions, provided the uncertainty in the nation going around. You can be happy, you can feel relieved, you can also feel guilty, sad, anxious, depressed, and everything in between at the same time.
Yes.
Just know that there are a lot of mental health professionals and platforms like Happy Minds who are offering free psychosocial support, even to serve in the times of crisis, and we are extending this for as long as we can. So please know that you are not alone, and please don't push yourself into just feeling anything but guilty for everything that's going around. So we are there for you. We hold a space for you. Please reach out.
Thank you so much for being here and for your incredible work in Happy Minds, which is truly inspiring. And I hope there's more into the future.
I hope so. And thank you for asking all the good questions.
Thank you.
I think I was able to share a lot about what's going on and what are we doing and what can we offer to the community as well. So thank you for giving me this space.
Thank you. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Keep watching Prisma Television.